Writing your resume or drafting your resume for the first time, or even if you're revamping it, can be super stressful. Trying to figure out what kind of information do I put on it? How much information do I put on it? How long should it be? These are questions that everybody asks somebody at some point. And if you were to type into Google right now, because I did it just before I started this video, there are 485 million results that come up when you type in resume template. So obviously it's something that people have a lot of questions about. So today I wanted to take the opportunity to do my vlog on my 3 points, or the main 3 points that I believe either make or break a resume. Now, we focus on the healthcare field, so that's how I'm going to focus this little vlog. Obviously, there are other resume formats and types for different sectors and industries, but I'm going to be focusing on the healthcare field. So if you're an RN, RPN, or PSW that's looking for employment, I hope you find this video helpful. The first point that I want to go over is the information that you add to your resume. For some reason, and I'm guilty of it as well, for some reason everybody thinks that a resume needs to include every little detail about who they are and their past experience. That is not the case. A resume is supposed to be a little snippet or a sneak peek into what you have to offer for the position that you're applying for. Don't feel like you have to add every little detail about yourself or every little piece of experience that you have on your resume. List out the main information that they need to know. For example, when I look over resumes, when people submit them to me, I look for 3 main points. I look for education, experience if it's required for that position, and then certifications. Do they have certifications that apply to this position? So those are the basic pieces of information that people need when you are submitting your resume. The second point that I want to talk about that I believe either makes or breaks a resume is the length of your resume. And that kind of ties into the first point being the amount of information that you add to it. Obviously, the less information that you add, the shorter your resume is going to be, and that's actually preferred. According to monster.ca, and this is kind of how I've always based it too, is if you have less than 10 years of experience in whatever field you're in, you should be able to stick to a 1-page resume. I know that that sounds really hard, but if you take out all of the extra stuff and fluff that they don't need to know about right away, it's easy to make it 1 page. If you have more than 10 years of experience, you kind of have the go-ahead to make it a little bit longer. Now, just keep in mind that if you're submitting a resume for a position, chances are other people are also submitting resumes for that same position. Whoever's reviewing your resume has other resumes to review. So if you're submitting a 4 or 5 page resume, they're going to look at it and be like, there's so much information on here, what do I really need to know? And then they have to search through it to find what they need. Eliminating as much work as possible for them is going to give you a thumbs up right away before even getting in the door. Now, what I'm going to do at the end of this video is I'm going to include, I've kind of drawn up a little mock resume for everybody. I'm going to include a photo of it at the end. So I just kind of outline my, again, this is all totally my opinion, but my ideal resume layout. So it just kind of lets you know the way that you should be laying things out. The third point that I want to talk about is the layout or the details or the way that it looks, I should say. A lot of people think that making your resume pretty is going to get you the position, and that is not the case. If you're using cursive fonts or if you're kind of laying things out all over the place, again, it's really hard for somebody to read through quickly when they have a million other things to do. Making things as simple and as quickly as possible, or as quick as possible, I should say, makes their job easier, which they appreciate. So use simple fonts like Times New Roman or Arial, something that's really easy to read through, and make sure to list everything in chronological order. So from most recent to the oldest, I guess, when it comes to your education. If you have more than 1 certificate or diploma or degree, list them from the most recent completed to the oldest in order. Same thing with your experience. Talk about what you're doing now, what you've done in the past, to the oldest piece of information that they need to know, and make sure to keep it relevant to the position that you're applying for. If you're a nurse or a PSW, they don't need to know that you worked in retail when you were in high school, for example. Just put your clinical placements and then any type of work that you've had in the healthcare field since you graduated. Like I said at the beginning of this vlog, I did this specifically for those working in the healthcare field. So if you're an RN, RPN, or PSW that's applying, I hope that you found this vlog helpful.